So on this one, we just want the left arm a little straighter, so you can see on the right here that Sean O'Hare's got his arm a little straighter, and then his head's more behind the ball. So you're just going to feel centered. Can you see okay, Dwight? Okay. So then I'm going to take both of you back. And it's coming. A little slow-mo. And so I want you to notice here that as Sean O'Hare goes back, you're going to see, of course he's in a position, it's going to be a little easier to do it, but do you see how he's turning his shoulders here? So his arms are out and his club's out, so it's like his club, arms, and hands go together all at the same time, okay? And then you can see here, see how your hands and your arms are going, but there's not as much shoulder turn. Does that make sense? And so you could see his left shoulder starting to get more towards the center. Well, he was already set to do that. And so what happens here, okay, as he continues, you see how his arms are out a little bit more, and then his back's at the target, okay? So your arms are going to be pulled back a little more, but you see how your left shoulder hasn't turned behind the ball? Mm-hmm. Okay? So it's harder for you to get behind the ball, and that's where, okay, so last time with your driver, you see how we see a difference with the right arm? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's where you get a little bit stuck where that club's too far back. Okay? So we just need more rotation with your body, and that's really going to be, going to be easier when the setup is straighter with or you're more centered. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then watch the difference here on the downswing. Okay? Strongest part of our bodies are our legs because we got bigger muscles and bigger bones, right? So you can see his lower body's moving, and then he pulls that letter L down, right? Okay? And so from where you're at, do you see how, because you're on your left side a little more, you can't really use your lower body the same. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so what happens is now your head's already in front of the ball, okay? And so now you lose this angle, this letter L right here. Does that make sense? So if you keep this letter L here, that's more power. Now you're getting a little obtuse with your angle. Okay? And then, okay, instinctively, okay, all athletes do this, okay? Since your head is in front of the ball, you're going to kind of move your head back so you can get underneath it. Does that make sense? So, like when you hit those balls to the right sometimes? Yeah. So that's when you're trying to figure out how to get to the ball. And you're a good athlete. You'll figure it out once you get the timing, And so then you'll see the difference on the extension of the arms here. Okay? But look at the difference on his hips and your hips, right? He's still down with his eyes and his posture. I don't know how my camera work is doing over here. Trying. Does it make sense, though? Okay. And then you can see him finish all the way on his left side. Okay, he's like a post with his body. Okay, but in your case, because you're already leaning to the left, it's hard for you to turn. So it's hard for you to get that initial takeaway where you get bigger muscles working. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so then if I go over here, like I said, this might be a little skewed just because of the because you're a little bit in front of the camera. Does that make sense? Okay, let me see if I can find, and I'll use, here's Spieth. He's using a wedge, but it'll still be fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line right through the shaft. Whoops. Okay. And then I'm going to put a little line on your head, both of your heads, just to kind of check posture. Okay. And so the goal is on this one, Dwight. Okay, I'm going to take Spieth back. And he might not be doing a totally full swing, but we want the body to turn and the hands and the club to follow that takeaway line. Okay? Oops, what happened to your line there? See, and you do a good job there trying to turn. I can see that. That's really good. And then we continue to the top. Here's where we're going to start looking different. See how your shaft is already going on your line? He's going to go a little bit above it. And you're going to see a difference on your right elbow and his right elbow. Okay? See how your right elbow's below it? Mm-hmm. His is above it. So now he's going to be able to take his arms a little higher because his arms are a little more in front of his chest. Okay? And at this point right here, and I don't expect you to remember all of this, but if I draw a line right down the arm, okay, ideally the left arm would be parallel to the takeaway line. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you see how yours is a little bit below it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then coming down, here's where it's going to be a lot different. Okay? Ideally, we'd want the shaft to go through the middle of the bicep, the right bicep, okay, and right through the middle of those lines, okay? And here we know your upper body's working a little more because you're more on your, or you've pulled your arms back. But like I said, you do a good job of bringing it back, but that's why it doesn't happen every time. And once you can kind of get it under control, man, you are going to nail it. Because you do a great job of getting back to the ball. It's just a matter of, but you're having to compensate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know this, I'm trying to go through this a little bit quick, but okay. And then what happens is on this one, you see his right arm's on the line, your right arm's on the line. Okay. So as he continues, because he's had more body turn, his body's going to finish a little bit more to the left because he uses more lower body to get around. So you don't quite get all the way around. So we want your left arm on top. We want you centered, a little wider. You got your pinky pad on top. Now slowly turn your entire chest back and keep the arms out. Okay? Now arms wider. There you go. Ooh, better. Okay? And we'll work on the little, is that better? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you get behind the ball with your head versus to the left. Do that one more time.
Like normal?
Yeah. Normal with some changes. Yeah, normal speed. Or even 90% is good. Okay. So wider turn, centered. Okay. Do it again. Okay. It's better.